in the
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
section.
Okay, so let me start sharing. I'm sharing my screen, and Nick, you could see my presentation, right?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so guys, let's start, and in between, I think you could maybe on listen mode. But once you get a time, as Nick requested, you can type. Thank you. So here, Azure Security Defenses, you ought to know. This is very interesting topic, and nowadays, as enterprise are moving towards the cloud, we know we still have that kind of hesitation. We have some kind of not that confidence which we gather on-prem from couples of decades, like how my data is secure, what is gonna to be, where my data will store. And that kind of questions I also encounter day to day when I do consulting, when I speak to different public sectors. They have that kind of A, geographical limitation, B, political limitation. If that's a geographical limitation, it means, one country don't want its data to be stored in another country. For example, if I'm working with Canadian public sector or government sector, they don't want me, I will use data center that is maybe in Europe or maybe outside Canada. That's not allowed. That's not allowed. That's not though it cost us less, but that's not recommended. So we will look for what are the defense we have available, and we will take it forward from there. So why my screen is not moving here? So security is for everyone job. If I talk about security, security is for everyone. Security is not limited or restricted for for any specific department. Earlier, we think whenever we develop a code, I'm coming from a background of development. So whenever I write a very beautiful code, very beautiful application, I think, hey, I did my job. My application is running perfectly fine. All functionality is working. I hardly pay any attention to security. However, that's the not case. Security is not limited or restricted up to a specific department like these wonderful guys, all right? They are there in the market to ensure the security. However, for IT, I don't think that's gonna to be, a good idea. That's not at all a good idea, right? In IT, we have to ensure what we are doing, how my data is secure. If I have written very good application, very good application, and it's not secure, say I have written world best functionality, give very good user interface, very great data, and I ensure everything, but the same day that application got hacked, then definitely it's not going to be a secure application. So we have to take the ownership and responsibility as well as owners if security has been compromised. And we have been leveraged by Azure to ensure the security. So the question is why security is important. We have a security breach, multiple security breach. We have come across many cases where security has been compromised. Nowadays, cryptojacking and crypto pirates are another cases where security has been regularly compromising. They take your data and ask you to pay in the form of cryptocurrency. Um, you know what I mean. That happened to a very good bank as well. Uh, that is another thing where we have to plan and prepare ourselves. Hey, whatever I'm working, wherever I'm working, whether it is my application or whether it is my personal website, my data is secure. We always have insider threats. We do have someone from company who is not intentionally, but say he's sitting in the Tim Horton enjoying the coffee and writing some very nice code and interacting with the database, making some query, but that guy don't know that network where you are connected on the cafe. And I think that's happened with everyone. I usually went to Teams and whenever I have to do some work, so I also do that thing, but we don't know that network is not secure. Someone is watching you, have your all password. Someone could connect on your behalf, and they could manipulate or update your queries and request and response accordingly. So that is kind of another threat which we do have. And this is very common threat if we are working on any public open network, unsecure network. That is another thing. Accidental, this may happen to anyone, anywhere, without any guilt, without any reasons, or maybe natural, maybe unnatural. But we have to ensure our data is secure. If our data is secure, then probably we could say, hey, our data is secure, and we could mitigate any accidental case. For example, if there is tsunami or there is uh, earthquake, we could mitigate that scenarios by replication of our data. We could replicate our data maybe on the different geographical location, maybe on different zones. So that is the power we have from cloud. We have corporate espionage, right? That is also not something which never happened and which will not happen. So we should consider that kind of scenario where we are considering, hey, uh, uh, if we found someone in the organization that is actually not working for the organization, and he is working or she is working for some another organization. Uh, from cloud, we could leverage ourselves with that as well. Ransomware is the another case. And hey Leo, I could see your message. Could you type your location as well? Thank you. So another is the denial of services. This is a very beautiful pattern and services offered by Microsoft, uh, which by which you leverage yourself with the patterns of thank you, Leo. Patterns of common security threats. For example, if your storage is being hammered by someone with the different patterns, different common passwords, and different options, then denial of services automatically come into the picture. Denial of service is a artificial intelligence powered pattern which understand, hey, this guy not seems to be a regular or authentic guy. For example, if I have logged into my Azure portal from Saskatchewan, and very next instance I try to log in my Azure portal, say from Europe or from Africa, then Azure portal will understand, well, denial of services or artificial intelligence will understand, hey, it seems something dicey, right? You have to validate your authentication. Can I send you password, or can I send you SMS, or could you validate on email? That kind of things is also there. And we do have a reputation where we have good friends who are working across different companies. Ex-employee can be the friend of Y-employee, and both are working on the companies which are really not in good relationships. So that kind of thing also happen, and that's why owing to all these eight scenarios, we have to never compromise our security. We have to work our level best to ensure we are doing best security. There are some offerings from Microsoft as well, where we could understand, yeah, these are the some of the scenarios. So, cloud native. Earlier, we were thinking cloud native. Being IT guy, what is my understanding? We were thinking application and services that automate and integrate the concept of continuous delivery, microservices, containers, and serverless. But that's not uh, for cloud native, we could say it's not copying everything from your traditional data center to another data center. It's way beyond that. We couldn't say if we are saying cloud native, I'm a cloud guy. I'm only concerned about, migration of data. No, that's not the case. We have a lot of options. We could write our application, we could deploy our application, we could ensure the security, we could work on various old software development life cycle. So we have to think about beyond this, and we could say, hey, uh, we need to migrate our data. That's one thing, but I could deploy my application, I could deploy my firewall, I could deploy my VPN, and I could work around it. So that's one of the beautiful case of it. And whenever we talk about the cloud security and then we are saying about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. All these factors are the part of Azure cloud platform where we are confidential. We are not going to share any data to anyone. If it's your data, even a Microsoft employee can't access your data, and their data center is more like a jail, right? It's you don't find any rack or any USB port where you could plug and play it, or any front end TV or monitor is there. No, that's not available. Another thing is the availability. As a Microsoft, we ensure data is available every time to everyone. It's available every time. If there is natural disaster, if there is the uh, some geological disaster, if there is the regional disaster, we ensure we have copy of your data. We ensure if you lose your data on a particular location, your business is still running. Your data could be make available within fraction of minutes at most, and you could uh, access your data from there. And we have very sound foundation on the integrity as well. So that's what we are offering. We have resilience, improve availability. We are ensuring we have confidentiality, availability, and integrity things. So being said that, let's jump into Azure Advisor. There are a couple of offerings which you could leverage yourself. I will discuss, I think, if time allowed, 2 to 3 offerings today, and maybe take on another offerings later on. So first is the Azure Advisor. If you are a Azure guy and you have Azure portal, I know a couple of guys who are in session. You know, we have common Azure background. So if you want to ensure your security, so we have this guy advisor. You could write here as well and type advisor. As well as you type advisor, you will land it to a left-hand panel here. And here Azure Advisor will give you recommendation on the basis of your resources, on the basis of performance. So this is my advisor. Here I would like to show you guys. I don't have a lot of resources available here because whenever I perform any demo or whenever I perform any tech talk, I deleted those resources. I don't need those resources. So I have 7 resources, and it's advisor giving me suggestions on the basis of 7 resources. So as per advisor, I have one resource impacted. So it's say this is the low impact, and Azure service issue affect me. It is on one subscription, and let's see the description by going here. I'm here. It's a I'm on Microsoft Azure subscriptions. Health alert is there. What I want to do: postpone, dismiss, or implement. So I do have that option. I will click again to understand what is basically this Azure Service Health Alert is. And I will say alert target is for Azure sponsorship. It's for 148 services are selected. Region is not selected. I could select the region, maybe Canada Central. Here you go. And service health criteria is 3. And I could say enable rule upon creation, or don't enable rule creation. I could create some action group as well, where I have option to create action group. What need to do? Do I need to send some notification? Do I need to send some emails, etc.? So I'm not doing that at this demo. I could select it. I could either postpone it for a week or a month or couple of weeks, right? Or I could also implement this security. So that's up to me. That is the Azure Monitor. This is very good tool available by Microsoft. So if you are using your Azure resources, any point of time, you could use this advisor recommendation. You could look or keep looking over and what they are saying. This is come under high availability area. Under security, I have 6 recommendations, and these recommendations are very high impact on my resources. So I could go over here. Okay, I could say what this recommendation is. It's prevent potential security breaches. It's really niche, right? It's really look very impacted. It could impact me on larger extent. So over here, I could go and say, what is my score? Out of 4 resources, 3 are unhealthy resources. So I have 3 high severity recommendation, 1 medium severity recommendation. And this recommendation is from my storage, blob storage and database. One is for identity access. It gives me score as well. If I implement this security, enable multiple authentication access account, then I will get 50 credit. It means my total score, security score, or total resources score will increase by 50. I could implement it, or I could say, if I go here, I could say, okay, I will implement later. Another is the enable auditing for SQL Server. It give me options as well. What I need to do, if I click over here, it will say, hey, you did not implement the auditing on your SQL Server to track the database, right? So what I could do, I could go here and it will say here, I need to go and implement under auditing. I need to turn it on. As soon as I turn it on, it my auditing destination will be secure. It will be now auditing mode. As soon as I will do that, my recommendation, my score will be increased. So that implementation has been implemented. Another is the fellow security center recommendation. Let's look over this recommendation, what it's saying. So one is a designated more than one owner of your subscription. It say I have more than one owner on my subscription. Let's go back and look here, and it's giving me 5 secure score. So my score will increase by 5. And as soon as I click it, I have same option to go to next step and implement it. Let me take a pause, guys. I'm very thirsty. So I have this access control. I could implement it role assignment. I could add and implement that security recommendation. So this I'm very impressed by this Azure Advisor tool. It gives me options about security. I don't have any option about recommendation on performance, neither on cost. Hoo-hoo. I'm super happy. I'm not paying a lot of amount for my resources. And overall, I have 7 recommendation which is impacting 4 resources. Out of these 7, 6 are high impact recommendation and 1 is the low impact recommendation. So this is the beauty of the Azure Advisor. I could download it as a PDF. I guess I already downloaded. Yeah, I could open it and I could read from here what the security is, what I need to do, what I need to implement is, and what are the potential benefit, like get notified when Azure services issue affect you or prevent potential breaches. Prevent potential security breaches. More on security breaches. One is on the my one subscription, one is on 2 subscriptions. So I'm getting a lot of information. We could download it as CSV file as well. So uh, this is about Azure Advisor. I will recommend you guys to try it. And then let's go to another tool. So another is the Azure Security Center. Azure Security Center is from a while available to us, and I think every one of us have touch base it. If you not touch base it till yet, I think this is going to be a good idea, right? I will also follow. It is nice to keep looking over your resources where you are working. If you are finding some security recommendation, take it seriously, guys. It may impact you. Uh, it will save us possible hacking, like because cloud security is different, right? It's we have complete infrastructure visibility, we have complete threat monitoring, and that's the beauty. We don't have to implement our security compliances from scratch. We could leverage ourselves from the learning pattern of the Microsoft. They have a vast resources where they are managing the resources, and they are encountering a day by day about the various hackers, team of hackers, and various security compliances. So if you are using Azure Security Center, which I'm just going to share, it's not a specific one guy or one team or couple of teams inputs. It is input from a lot of learning, lot of resources, lot of companies. They share, hey, we feel our data is have been compromised or attacked, and whenever data is compromised or attacked, we should consider it may be some teams of very expert guys like you, or it may be team of spotted by some country. That is another thing we have to consider. If a country want to access some data, they have a lot of teams, they have a lot of guys, they have resources, they have all the facilities. And to mitigate those kind of threat in real scenario, Azure Security Center is really one of the best thing I feel I could rely on. And let's look at Azure Security Center and then what they are saying. So this is the security center. It's on my left panel. If you want to use, you have also your option to write security center, and you could find it, security center. Uh, but I'm going on my left side over here. I'm clicking on security center, and then this guy will come up. It will take a while to scan my whole resources. It will give me different options. I could see here policy and compliance is my secure score is 205 out of 290. That's not too bad, I guess. Uh, uh, it means I'm taking care of my resources on cloud uh, in a better way, right? But I will also understand there are four recommendations uh, available to me which I need to implement. We did implement one recommendation earlier. So my security not too bad. If you want to understand about your secure score, you could go over here. You could understand, okay, where you are getting what score. I'm getting 170 on under identity and access. I could increase up to 225. I'm getting 35 out of 35 in networking. Hey, hey. That's great. About data and storage, I do not have any score. That's bad. I think I really have to look at that thing. And compute and apps have zero score. So I could improve my score, and the recommendation is enable multi-factor authentication for account with owner. This is the top recommendation which gave me 50 points. If I click over here, I have enable MFA for account and owner permission for your subscription. If I implement it, I will get 50 score, and I could implement directly from here. I have to enable multiple factor authentication where I could see, hey, these are the things I need to do, and I have to select it and add multiple factor assignment, add role assignment, and once I did role assignment, right here. So I could do deny assignment as well. I could define roles, the various roles where uh, I could specify these other roles. On a role, you could add anyone. Well, not anyone apparently, but your boss, say maybe Satya, if I'm working on Microsoft, your owner or your team on different role. But remember, guys, don't give honor permission to anyone, not to anyone. Give them contributor, reader permission. Never give anyone any permission of honor. No, that's not a good idea, not at all. So, well, here we have option to enable MFA. I'm not doing that right now because after this demo, another demo, probably I will destroy my resources, and then I could enable auditing on SQL Server. Give me a second, I'm super thirsty. And enable transparent data encryption. So if I implement all these recommendations, my score will be 290, which is the best score. And once I have kind of say 80% to 90% of score, I could say, hey, I take care of maximum security compliances or maximum recommendation. I could sleep very well. and I could look at uh, here. This tab is very favorite tab of mine. Whenever I'm at work, I keep looking threat protection. It will say, do I have any security alert? Does someone from, say, Africa or Nigeria or any geographical location where nobody from my team or organization exists try to connect my resources? If I found some threat protection, it understand Azure understand that protection. It will say, okay, this is not gonna to be expected behavior, so I'm taking a pause. You validate your identity. So different patterns, different flow come into the picture. So I don't have any security alerts, and here, if you didn't start it, you could start your Azure Security Center subscription, which is free for 30 days. You could look over your coverage, what coverage you are doing, like coverage in terms of the subscription. I'm using my Visual Studio Enterprise subscription is totally covered. Um, I have defined owners and you know so you could do coverage on the basis of your subscription, basis of if you have more than one subscription, you could cover those subscription where you are exposing your resources. You have secure score, secure policy, etc. We could secure hygiene implemented on data and storage, compute and apps. You could see various related and affected resources over there. And we have some security solutions as well. So another very great thing which is coming into the picture, this is on the preview, that is a playbook. You could implement it. I implemented Deepak demo for Azure Security Playbook. If some resources, some guys, some state actor, or maybe some hackers want to access my resources, how I'm gonna to be react on that? I would like some email to be sent, some notification, or completely block out, dropping that resource, deleting that resource, etc. So I have that display for demo for Azure Security, which is basically securities thing, and I could use various version, various workflow setting, and here I could add logic app, which Nick was also mentioning, what I need to do in that case of scenario, and what access key I would like to provide, what alert I need in that case. So this is in preview, but it's really a very good feature. Uh, keep looking, keep explore that feature. It's provide me log and diagnostic as well. So with that, I think I'm all set with my 40 minutes. I have uh, whatever I need to discuss today. I had discussed about Azure Security. If you want to learn more about Azure Security, there are a couple of channels where you could connect me. You could connect me on my website, which is deepakaushik.com. You reach over there, contact me. I'm super happy to help you with consulting, and uh, if your organization required any Azure or cloud related uh, details, I would love to discuss with you guys. Just go to my website, click contact, send me email, uh, or you could also contact me by Twitter. My Twitter handler is Think for Deepak. You could reach me over there as well. And I'm super happy to connect you guys on LinkedIn as well. So usually very active on LinkedIn and Twitter. So that is my favorite area where I would love and to connect. So you could come to my website, look over various resources. I have a lot of articles you could look over in January 3, December, every month wise. You could look over articles if they are meeting your requirement, or is if that is something you want to discuss. I'm super happy to connect to you guys. But if that is not what you are looking for, don't hesitate to connect me. I will love to share my 2 cents. I will love to discuss. We could plan a meeting and we could connect. So that's